Hi there, this is Michael of Mondol, the fleeing thinker. I'm making this video especially addressing the atheist, especially the atheist that are in with me in the Facebook groups that I am in. First of all, many atheists do not think that I'm an atheist simply because I point out some things that I find troubling with how most of the atheists, or at least some of the atheists, argue and talk about the existence of God or religion. Anyone who actually know me in person would laugh at people like those. Ask my fiancée. She and I argue about the existence of God all the time, and she is actually mad. I mean, one of the things that might be a huge issue in the relationship between me and my fiancée is my worldview. She and I fought over my worldview all the time. Just ask her. And I'm actually someone who had to flee my nation, Bangladesh, for speaking my mind. So someone accusing me of lying has to be either absolutely stupid or absolutely ignorant and a liar. I'm someone who's suffering for my worldview, and I'm deliberately choose not to lie. I could have just lied and stayed in Bangladesh. I could have just said that I haven't said those things, but I haven't, because I have a principle, and I do live by that principle. So those who think that I'm not an atheist, either a stupid or just a liar or absolutely ignorant. Now, I'm actually someone who used to say that there is no evidence of God. Till I actually started to question it, it actually made perfect sense. But then I actually started to question it. Just think what the claim actually means. It means I know what the evidence of God is, and I also know it's not there. First of all, do you really know what the evidence of God is? I'll argue we don't. And second of all, even if you knew what the evidence of God is, how we could be sure it's not there? It's possible that it's there and we just don't know it. Then I started to use a different phrase. I used to say that I do not see any evidence of God. Everything was fine till I started to question it too. Just think what it implies. At least it implies that I know what the evidence of God is and I do not see it. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a friend who never heard of a train, never seen one, and do not even understand what a train is. And that friend came to visit you, and you took him to a train station, and there was a train standing in front of you. And you say to your friend, "Look, there's a train. Isn't it beautiful?" And your friend say, "No, I don't see any train." Will that be a right statement? It is true that there is a train and he is seeing it, he just don't know that he is seeing a train. So it is perfectly possible that there are evidence of God all around me, us, and we just don't see it. And I'll argue that if how did God actually defined in usual sense, it's impossible for us to have any direct evidence of God, because if we define God as something that is the author of nature, then we can't expect God to have evidence, at least evidence in nature or natural evidence for existence of God. Something that transcends nature should not have any evidence in nature, because it transcends nature. And even if let's say God exists, I do not believe God exists. Let's just say God exists and he interacts with nature. How we will know that it's God interacting or it's not something else? How can we be sure of that? We can't. There is a principal gap between something that transcend natural and something that is nature. So asking for natural evidence for a God that should be transcend nature is kind of foolish, and I just don't know why some of my fellow atheists do not see it. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that they think that. There are many other issues about believing a naturalistic worldview. I'm not going to get into details. Just because I'm an atheist and I do believe that there is no God, or at least I do not believe there is no God, doesn't mean that I won't be able to talk about the issues that related or without having a world without any higher authority or God. I perfectly can, and many atheists have done that. I don't know why most of the atheists in the group thinks that just because I try to criticize, they think that I found troubling about what some atheists done means I'm not an atheist. I mean, that's ridiculous and stupid. It's just show how close-minded they are. If you like my video, you can subscribe my YouTube channel, The Fleeing Thinker. You can also like my Facebook page, The Fleeing Thinker, to know that why I had to flee from Bangladesh and why I'm actually a fleeing thinker. You can follow me on my Facebook profile, and please don't be close-minded. Just because you do not comprehend something doesn't mean that it's not true, and doesn't mean that it shouldn't be something that should be criticized. Thank you.